As you know, there's been a lot of, several rallies and a lot of talk about police brutality in the black communities around the country, and especially against black men. We just had the situation with Ferguson in Missouri there, and Michael Brown, where there are a couple of situations going on here in L.A. that some people may not be aware of. We're going to get into all that. I have in studio Adam Lerman, and he is an organizer for BAMN, a coalition to defend affirmative action, integration, and immigrant rights by any means necessary. So BAMN is by any means necessary. Adam, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in.
No, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I do appreciate it. Tell the folks a little bit more about BAMN, how long you've been around, and what got you going.
Sure. Actually, we've started here in California in the Bay Area in 1995 in reaction to the initial ban on affirmative action programs that was implemented by the University of California Regents. Back at that time, there were protests held at the Regents meetings the summer of 95, and Jesse Jackson was there, and BAMN kind of grew out of those protests as a way to try to organize in the state of California against the ban on affirmative action that was then statewide implemented the following year in 96.
Right.
So, and we've grown from there across the country and have done a lot over the last, almost 20 years now.
Are you a national organization?
We are. We are. Our main national headquarters is in Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, okay. Are you, Adam, are you a Christian?
I am not. I was actually born and raised in a Jewish family.
So you're Jewish? Mm-hmm. You are Jewish?
I am.
Oh, you don't look like a Jew.
I'm not sure how Jews necessarily look, but...
you look like a regular white guy.
Well...
So you're Jewish?
I am.
Oh, okay. Well, good. What is it that about affirmative action that you guys like, that you wanted to be around?
We just feel like these are programs that address some of the inequality that actually still exists in our country. For us, it's not just about, making up for past wrongs, which, of course, are in our minds are connected to today's inequality, but really we see affirmative action as a recognition that there is inequality in our society that needs to be addressed in some way through positive programs, and they grew out of the civil rights movement.
Yeah, like what, for example?
Well, for example, in our work at university admissions, a lot of people will say, well, it should be based only on merit and test scores and grades.
Right.
And our response to that is that a lot of the inequality in K through 12 education between black and white, or Latino and white, or even Asian and white in some neighborhoods, that inequality needs to be made up for, and that the admissions process to a school, for example, like the University of Michigan, which I'm most familiar with, having lived in Detroit for many years before I moved to Los Angeles. The case at the University of Michigan that BAMN was involved with in defending affirmative action at the Supreme Court in 2003, a lot of our argument was that the admissions process itself was biased and was prejudiced against poor students, but also minority students in particular, and that these programs help to offset those tangible, concrete biases in the process.
Instead of trying to bring in affirmative action based on color, why not improve the public school system? Why not fight to take out the teaching of homosexuality, all these social programs that the public schools are carrying? Are you for homosexuality?
Yes, we are for gay rights.
Are you personally for it too?
Yes,
I
am.
And so are you okay with that being taught to minority children, black children, others in the public school?
Insofar as any sexuality is taught in the classroom, I think it should be even-handed and open to everyone. I don't think there should be any discrimination based on whether you're gay or straight. We can definitely debate that. But I do think in public schools, in secular public schools, that if we're going to be teaching sex education, then, yeah, it should be even-handed and should be taught. So
you're okay with them teaching, because you want affirmative action on one hand, and you say it's due to the lack of proper education when they go into the public schools.
We are for
but
reform in our public schools.
But are you for black kids being taught about homosexuality in the classroom?
We are for them being taught the truth. We're for everyone being taught the truth.
No, how about homosexuality? Are you for black kids being taught homosexuality in the public?
What do you mean by taught homosexuality?
You know, they say
that it exists and that it's real and that 10% of the population are gay? Yeah, we should be teaching that people should be treated equally? Yeah, we should be teaching that. Are you asking we should be teaching, how to actually perform gay sex?
They do that
that's not being taught in any school in America.
They use bananas and things like that to be taught.
That's fabrication.
But, so are you saying, yes, you are okay with homosexuality being taught to black children?
Not in the way you're saying it. I mean, if you're implying that there is actual, that children are being taught anything having to do with particular gay sex acts or straight sex acts in a classroom, I mean, no, we're not for that. But as I said, if we're for teaching the truth about what America is and that, yes, gay people should have full rights and gay people should not be beaten and discriminated against and should not be mistreated, yeah, we should be teaching all of that.
So I want to go back. Are you okay with black children? I need a yes or no on it. Are you okay because you want affirmative action for the colleges, the universities around the country?
Your question is off.
No, let me just do this. You want affirmative action. You want these black kids to be able to get into a college of their choice.
Yes.
And you said that you need affirmative action because they're not getting the quality education in the lower grades.
Yes. And we are for changing K through 12 education in a positive direction. We're not for, we do think that the two go hand in hand, fighting for public education and fighting for access to college.
But you want black children to be taught about homosexuality in these classrooms, right? Yes or no on that?
I'm going to say yes, because I don't exactly know what you mean by teaching homosexuality.
What good does it do, and how does it help black children to learn about homosexuality when they start school?
Because gay people are people, and they should have full rights, and they should not be having to hide in the shadows. And teachers should tell the truth about what America is, and should tell the truth to all kids. Kids are not stupid. They know they've got gay and lesbian friends and classmates and relatives and people in their neighborhood. So we're supposed to lie to them?
They already
and
know
not teach them about the real world?
They already know that without being taught that in school. So my point is, what good is it doing them to be taught?
Do you think they should be taught straight sex in school?
I want to go back to that question.
But do you think they should be taught straight sex?
They're not being taught straight sex in school.
They're not being taught gay sex in school. That's a fabrication. You're just making that up.
And by the way,
I've been in classrooms all over the country, and including Los Angeles, in many schools, and you're just saying that to be provocative.
By the way,
and to be a demagogue.
By the way, homosexuality is not 10% of the population.
It's probably more, actually.
According to the CDC, recent study is 2 to 5%. Yeah. Just FYI, it's not.
That's
10%.
Not true. That's obviously not true.
Well, CDC is lying.
I think whatever study you're referring to is wrong.
How do you know?
Because forever, these numbers have been clear, and the numbers are growing.
But that's because homosexuals lie. Liberals lie about these numbers. But just as,
okay.
Just to clear
We're
up
going to disagree on this, obviously.
No, right, because you're wrong. I'm right on it. CDC,
okay, Jesse.
According to a recent study by the CDC, homosexual population is anywhere between 2 to 5%, not 10%. And we've been told that lie for years, and it's not true. Let me take a quick break. There's so many things.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to get into the Ezell Ford case here in L.A., please.
Right. 888-7753-773. Back in a moment. Adam Lerman is with me. He's with BAMN, By Any Means Necessary. And there are some cases here involving police officers and some black folks who got in trouble. We're going to get to that in a minute. Let me just ask Adam this one question. Well, not one, but affirmative action based on color. As a black person, I see that as being embarrassing to black people. It's a put down in that it tells black people that they can't make it because they're black, and that they need affirmative action to let them in based on color. It's a put down to black Americans. Does that bother you as a Jewish guy?
No, I think the reality is the exact opposite of what you're describing. I think and I understand this is your personal feeling, but I do think affirmative action as a program, that it actually acknowledges the discrimination that exists in our society and actually should make everyone feel like, you know what, we're actually going to get a fair shake for the first time in a very long time in this country, actually the first time ever in this country, that affirmative action helps to offset some of the bias and prejudice. I don't think it's not an indictment of anyone's ability to achieve. In fact, it recognizes that even though you go to a bad school, you could achieve, you can be the best, you can contribute to society. We just need to give people an opportunity.
If 73% of black children were not born out of wedlock, they have fathers and mothers, as they did prior to the civil rights movement and this whole mess started, if they have fathers and mothers raising them and protecting them and taking care of them, would they need affirmative action?
I think probably yes, but I think the reality is
why
that
yes?
The family has been broken down in part because over the last 50 years, different governmental policies and the breakdown of the economy, the breakdown of, if you look back into the 50s and 60s, industrial jobs and the ability to have a solid middle-class life was abundant. You could, especially here in Los Angeles, even for the black community in Los Angeles, there was a period of growth and upward mobility. And for the last 40 years or so, that has disappeared. And that has...
So you're saying, yes, that even if the black community...
I think racism would still exist, yes. I do think
No, I didn't ask you about racism.
Well, that's what affirmative action offsets, is racism.
But so you're saying that even if the black families were intact,
yes,
black people would still need affirmative action?
Yes, because racism would still exist.
So why is it that the Jewish people don't need it, and they went through the Holocaust?
Because we're white, and we don't face that same kind of racism and discrimination in this country. And there was a time in this country where Jews did face a lot of that kind of discrimination. But the racism that black people and Latino people and other minorities face in this country doesn't exist for Jewish people anymore.
Why it doesn't exist for Jewish people now?
Because I do think because we're white. And a majority were white, overwhelming majority were white, and we and have been given opportunities at a higher rate than our black and brown brothers and sisters.
So that's what happened with you? They gave you opportunities because you were white?
I think my parents' generation definitely had a lot more opportunities in the 30s and 40s and 50s than their black and Latino counterparts in this country. Yeah, for sure. I'm sure my grandparents obviously faced a lot of discrimination and were ghettoized in the early Jewish neighborhoods in New York City, which is where I'm originally from. But that type of ghettoization of the Jewish community doesn't exist today.
So do the Jewish people, do they discriminate against blacks too?
Oh, I'm sure that, that does happen, yes.
Yeah,
but I do think, obviously...
So do you discriminate against blacks?
Do I discriminate against blacks? I would say, as an individual, no, I do not. As a white person being raised in America, do I still have elements of racism and bias and prejudice, in me? We all do.
You have that toward black people?
I think I'd be kind of naive and lying to think that all remnants of prejudice and bias have against everybody, not just black people, but against everyone, to say that has been completely eradicated from me as an individual.
So as a Jewish guy working with blacks and liberals and others to, quote unquote, help black people, you are personally racist against blacks?
No, I'm not personally racist. That's not what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
What I'm saying is that all of us, no matter what we do, no matter who we are, we're raised in the United States, which the United States is fundamentally from its founding, racism's been part of our country. And so to say that...
So you are a racist?
No, I'm not. I'm an anti-racist. I'm an active anti-racist.
But you say you have something in you against black people.
Yeah, we all do.
What do you have against black people?
Nothing that I could ever put my finger on. But again, I think I'm being pretty honest with my answer here.
How do you know you have it then if you can't put your finger on it?
Because I think it exists in all of us. I think it's what growing up in America is. It's we are raised with
all
these
of
things.
Us, meaning all the white people, Jewish people, or black people.
I think all people have prejudice. I think the key is, are we fighting against it? Are we trying to uproot it? Are we trying to change it? Do I think black people can be racist? No. I think
You don't
racism.
think black people can be
not
racist?
Can they be prejudiced and biased? Yes.
So
but
all
racism,
other races can be racist
No.
except black people.
No. Racism is about power. And you need to have power in the society in order to be racist, because racism means you are actually.
One last thing then about that is Obama and Oprah and Bill Cosby, are those people racist? They have power.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
But they have power. You say
And
you have to
can
have
they-
power. Are they racist?
No, because honestly, the black community in America, even if the
But you just said
president,
if you
even if the
can't be-
president is black, that doesn't mean that we don't have racism in our country.
So why?
And that doesn't mean that there can't be racism against black people.
You said that you can't be a racist if you don't have power,
Right.
and
Yeah.
black people don't have power. I named you a
No,
few
and
black
even-
people with power,
that is not-
and you said
But
they
that's not
can't.
social
they're not
power,
racist.
Jesse, the president. You think the president actually makes most of the decisions? Who funds his campaign? Who got him elected? I mean, yes, he's a black president. He's the first black president.
wanna ask
and
this.
Oprah is a very wealthy individual. But to say that they have the same kind of social power that the ruling white class of America has, that's just
Okay,
not
so
true.
give me yes or just a quick yes or no.
Yeah.
Obama, Oprah,
Yeah,
Bill
yeah.
Cosby,
Yeah.
and all those black folks with money
Yeah.
and power are not racist. They can't be racist.
No, I don't think they're racist. I think, can they be prejudiced and biased? Yes.
But they can't be racist, right?
They can't impose
Give me
a
a yes or
policy
no.
of discrimination.
No, give me a yes or no.
They can't be racist.
So, but in order to be a racist, you got to have power.
You have to have real power.
And
You have to
Obama doesn't have real power.
No. I'm sorry, but the truth is, and I think if you ask the majority of people, has he actually done something for the betterment of
Does Eric
of black
Holder, the
Americans? That's
Attorney
not
General,
true.
does Eric Holder, the Attorney General, have real power?
I think insofar as he goes along with what the establishment wants, then yes. But if he steps out of line, he gets reined back in. You can see it
So
with the
is that a
president.
no or
You can
yes?
see it with the president right now with immigration. He's been talking for years about how he's going to, really fight for immigration
Do me a-
reform,
do me a
and
quick
he's been
favor.
completely restricted. He
Because
has
of
no
time.
power. He has no power to put forward what he really wants
Because
to.
of time, you're saying that Eric Holder, the Attorney General, does not have power.
I think in general, yes. In
He does
America,
have
he
power.
does not. No.
So does he have power or he doesn't?
No.
He does not have power.
That is correct.
The Attorney General of the United States of America does not have power.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes or no
Do
first?
you think?
Yes or no because of time?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
All right. When we come back, I want you to tell us a story about
About Ezell?
Ezell.
Okay.
And then we're going to take some calls.
I got you.
888-775-3773. Back in a moment. I'm talking to Adam Lerman. He is with the BAM, the organization BAM, By Any Means Necessary, a coalition to defend affirmative action, integration, and immigration rights by any means necessary. What's your website?
Oh, BAM.com, BAMN.com.
I was surprised that you told me during the break you didn't vote for Barack Obama.
Yeah, that's correct. Actually, within BAM, we had a very lengthy debate and discussion at one of our national conferences on the issue, and actually there's a lengthy article on our website about it. We felt like that Obama did not represent a real change in the status quo in terms of, having a real backbone to really fight to change much of anything. We were very happy and worked with the movement that grew to bring Obama to the presidency. There were lots of young people out there who were motivated and activated around his campaign. And while we worked with them in building grassroots organizing, we did not feel like a vote for Obama was prudent.
Are you liberal? Are you a liberal?
I'm more of a radical than a liberal.
So you're like a liberal radical.
I think liberals are, a little too wishy-washy for me.
Are you more liberal than Obama is?
Yeah, I'm definitely to the left of President Obama, yes.
Oh, okay. And so a couple changes you had wanted that he has not done is
Sure.
Can you tell us?
Sure. I mean, I just think he's, immigration reform recently is a perfect example. I think he'd been making lots of promises for many years about lots of changes, including this year saying he was going to use executive action whether or not the Republicans in Congress want to allow immigration reform. And he's completely backed off that for the benefit of a couple of Democrats who are facing re-election this fall. And I think to a lot of people in the progressive community, it's been a complete betrayal. I think a lot of people are drawing that conclusion.
You and your organization want more illegal aliens to come into the country.
We feel that all immigrants, and this is a country of immigrants, it's always been a country of immigrants.
Are you talking about illegal aliens? Are you talking about those
we're talking
who are
about undocumented immigrants.
Those who are coming through the back door.
People who are crossing the border because they're fleeing violence and economic problems in their countries.
But they are fleeing it from drug lords and
you know why the drug lords exist?
Because the government won't do anything about it. And
the drug lords exist because Americans want cocaine.
But let me ask you, on one hand, you say you care about black people. You're fighting for black
We are fighting
rights,
for
right?
full equality for everyone, yes.
What good does it do black people to have all these illegal aliens coming in?
I think the question of citizenship has always been something that this country has struggled with since we were founded.
No, that's not
and
what I
there were
asked.
people.
Stay with me with the question.
And I'm answering your question because
what good does it do black people to have all these illegal aliens coming in?
I think this economy would cease to exist the way it does without undocumented workers.
You're
There was a
still not
recent
answering the
study.
question.
If you'll let me finish,
I'm asking about black people. What good does it do black people to have all these illegal aliens coming in?
What good does it have? What good is it for black people to have a country
You're
that
not
is
answering that's not
destroying?
The question.
You need to ask why people are
You're
coming.
wasting a lot of time by not answering the question.
You need to ask why people are coming.
No.
And you're asking a question that is kind of ridiculous.
You said that
because
your organization fight for black people.
We all benefit from this country growing, thriving.
Good?
We all
do.
do.
What good does it do black people, black Americans, to have
to support full rights for people who are coming into the country?
That's not asking my question.
Yeah, but that's what it's about.
You can't tell me right.
What, I can't tell you?
What good does it do black Americans to have illegal aliens coming into the country?
And what good did it do white people after the Civil War to give black people citizenship?
That's not
the same question. It's the same question. What good did it do white Americans after the Civil War to give black people citizenship?
You're not answering
Can
the
you
question.
answer that? It's the same question, Jesse.
It's not the same question.
Yes, it is.
So you can't tell me what good, because on one hand
it does
you're
a whole
fighting
good.
for
It does an
black
entire
people.
good for our entire country to treat people
On one hand,
as
you're
equals.
fighting for black people.
How does it do? How does it do black? It's a negative
on.
impact on black people to have anyone treated differently, separately, and in an unequal way, and that is what is happening to undocumented immigrants. King is the one. Martin Luther King is the one that said an injustice to one is an injustice to all.
Calm down.
Right?
Calm down.
No.
So you can't
Calm
tell me
down.
what good it does black people to have
think I just
illegal
did.
aliens coming in. Does it help black people?
Yeah.
How does it help black people to have illegal aliens coming into the country? How does it help black Americans?
How does it help black Americans
Yes.
to have minorities, to have
illegal
undocumented?
aliens coming in? How does that help black
How does
Americans?
it benefit anybody? How
That's
does it,
not the question. Okay,
no one
let's
should
move
be,
on. You're not
no,
gonna-
Jesse,
let it be
because
noted.
It's a nonsensical question.
Let it be known, let it be noted, let it be heard, let it be written.
It benefits
and let it
black
be
people
said
to have
that
everyone
Adam
treated
Lerman
with equal rights.
did not answer that question.
You
Tell
need
us
to answer
about,
why do you think people are
because
coming
of
here?
time. Because of time. Tell us about
So you're going to ask
Ezell.
crazy questions,
Tell
but
us
not
about-
let me answer?
Tell us about Ezell Ford situation here in LA.
I will. Ezell Ford is a 25-year-old young black man who was shot to death by LAPD Newton Division cops at the corner of 65th and Broadway on August 11th. There have been a number of stories out there that the police have floated.
That's South Central LA, right?
That is.
Okay.
There's been lots of stories out there, but we've been doing marches in the neighborhood for 15 nights since August 11th, since he was shot and killed. We've marched in that neighborhood over and over and over again. Every witness we've spoken to says that Ezell was doing absolutely nothing. He was complying with the police and was actually shot in the back.
So the police had nothing better to do but to go up and shoot him?
Well,
like, there go Ezell,
let me
a black
tell you what the
guy.
police-
Let me shoot him.
Let me tell you what the police story is. The police story is that they ran up on him on the street. They pulled up alongside him. He immediately was combative and started to wrestle with one of the officers. The other officer, the partner, then pulled out a gun, and somehow while his partner's rolling on the ground with Ezell, he's able to fire off a shot, not hit his partner, but hit Ezell. And then his partner, who was the one wrestling on the ground, grabbed his backup weapon and then also shot Ezell, and that's what killed him. Now, that story seems kind of fantastical.
You don't believe it?
I don't believe a word of it.
Did Ezell have a criminal record?
Actually, he may have.
Did he?
He may have a limited,
He
but
did
that's
have
irrelevant.
One? He did have a criminal record?
He may have. I don't really know for sure.
Okay, well, according to the LA Times, the LAPD's independent watchdog is asking for witnesses to come forward on the police shooting of 25-year-old Ezell Ford, who was killed in South Central LA. Conflicting accounts have emerged regarding Ford's death. LAPD officers said Ford tackled one of the officer and reached for his gun, promoting both officers to open fire. But a friend of Ford's family said she witnessed part of the incident and saw no struggle. According to the Washington Times, Ezell Ford had a history of mental illness and had been convicted of marijuana possession and illegal possession of a loaded firearm in January. He was put on probation for trespassing in Long Beach. We don't know what he was doing that night or why he was stopped.
But obviously,
that's according to the Washington Post.
None of that stuff justifies murder, obviously, from the LAPD.
So his records, criminal records, doesn't matter.
No justification for murder, and the police murdered him.
We'll take some calls right after this break. Okay. Back in a moment. I got to ask Adam to get this on record. Are you a Christian? I asked you this during the break. Are you a Christian? Not a Christian. I'm sorry. You're Jewish.
I was born and raised in a Jewish family, yes.
Do you believe in God?
Me as a personal individual, I do not.
You do not believe in God. And you say that you're left of Barack Obama.
Yeah.
And so I asked you if you were a communist, and you say?
You could use that term. I don't necessarily use that term, but...
I don't want to use anything that's not true about you. Are you a communist?
I would probably more call myself a socialist, a revolutionary socialist, an activist.
So is that a no to the question, are you a communist?
Am I no? You could say, honestly, it depends what you mean by the phrase communist. Am I a Stalinist? Like the old school, like usually when people talk about the word communist, they're talking about Stalinism. No, I'm not that.
You're not a communist.
I'm
are
not
you a lightweight communist?
No. Lightweight? No. I think...
are you a wannabe communist?
Am I a wannabe communist? No, I wouldn't say wannabe. I think I'm a revolutionary.
Are you a Marxist?
I do agree with, yes, I am a Marxist.
You are, okay. All right. Let's go to Boston, Mass. and talk to CJ. CJ, good morning. Welcome to the show. You're on with Adam.
Hi.
Hi, CJ.
Hi, how is everybody this morning?
All is well. How can we help you?
Well, I've been waiting a long time, so
Thank you.
I've been taking notes.
Uh-oh.
I've been taking notes, and so can I just, first of all, the homosexual thing, let me just make a comment. Why do we have to know somebody's a homosexual?
Well, we didn't, right, that's a question.
What is the big deal? If somebody's they're a homosexual.
Adam, why do we need to know that? So why are they teaching that to black children? No one needs to know that.
I know it's not. To me, it's a mute point.
Let's get a response from Adam real fast.
I think people have the right to be who they are in public. Every person has the right to be themselves and be who they are, and shouldn't have to hide it.
They have a right to be themselves, but straight people have a right too. But we don't go around saying I'm straight.
Yeah.
You're making
because straight people are not discriminated against in America.
And
straight people do not have their rights being abridged.
Huh?
I said straight people do not have their rights abridged in America. Gay people
I don't know of it. I know of gay people. I had a gay professor, a psychology professor. She didn't have any rights taken from her.
You don't think? You don't think people are discriminated against on their day-to-day basis?
Dressed like a guy. And by the way, I'm probably old enough to be your mother. So I'm quite old, and I've been around the block probably a few times. The other thing I want to make very clear, in case nobody knows, but I know everybody knows, Barack Obama is not the first black president. He is half white, half black. That makes him mulatto, correct?
Adam?
He's black.
Why is he black?
Because in America, if you look like he does, you are treated like a black person. You are treated the same as the darkest black person in America.
It doesn't matter if you're in America or anywhere. I don't know where you live, But you know what? I don't
It's a
see
political
black people
construct.
having too many bad problems unless they're being naughty.
Racism is about politics.
So
I've
if
worked
Obama
with some
is
very wonderful black people.
if Obama is
I don't
black,
know where you live, honey, but I'm telling you, you're making victims of people, and you're trying to hold people down. That's what you're doing. And by the way, I'm white. You're holding people down. That's a terrible thing to do. If you don't give it affirmative action, then they're going to.
We are acknowledging that racism and sexism.
Right.
Do you think sexism exists? Do you think sexism hurts women in terms of math and science and
I've
engineering?
never had a problem with it.
no, sexism doesn't exist.
You don't think sexism
I've
is
never
a
had
problem
with it myself
in school at
personally,
all?
Not at
no.
all.
I don't know why would it.
Wow, I'm not sure what country you
Feminists
guys
are
live
sexist.
in. What kind of country
Oh,
do
no,
you
you're right.
You guys don't live in America.
Feminists are sexist. They hate men. You're
That's
absolutely
not
right.
true. That
true.
is not
No,
true.
they hate men.
You're just making that up, Jesse.
CJ, thank you. I got to run here. I'm looking at the clock. If Obama is black, why doesn't he have the black dialect?
Well, now who's making generalizations and
No, answer the
stereotypes
question.
about people?
Why is it that he doesn't
Because
have it?
black people are in every nook and cranny and every walk of life in America, and they're not just, the stereotypical, black person racist stereotype.
But why doesn't he have the dialect if he's black? And not, you say he's not white.
Because where was he raised?
Baba, go to guy. Go ahead. You're on the air, sir.
Oh, thank you, Jesse. I forgot your guest name, but welcome to
Adam.
the show.
Adam.
Glad to have you aboard. Now, you say you are a Marxist, right?
You can call me that, sure.
No,
yes.
no one
Yes.
will call
Okay,
you
fine.
that if you're not that.
Well,
Are you a Marxist? You said yes,
yes,
you are a Marxist.
I am saying yes.
Okay. Now, Jesse, a Marxist and a socialist and a communist and all, that's like comparing ISIS and Hamas and the PLO. It's all really the same. Their whole goal is to destroy the American.
Okay, so anyone who's fighting against the status quo, in your opinion, is a terrorist. Is that your
I
opinion?
didn't say that, but yes.
Well, you're sure lumping people in together. That's a little unserious of you, my friend.
The status quo of the Constitution, the status quo is what you're fighting against. Yes, anybody who fights against that is in their heart a communist.
Were the
socialist.
abolitionists terrorists?
There's no difference. Now,
Was William
let me get
Lloyd
on
Garrison
something.
a terrorist? Was Abraham Lincoln a terrorist?
Yes, the communists were terrorists. Oh, yes.
No.
That is
No,
in your blood.
I'm asking about the abolitionists, the people who fought against slavery before the Civil War. Were they terrorists?
Some of them, a couple of them, especially this one guy I think named Brown. He
John
did turn to
Brown.
terrorism.
Yeah, my hero, John Brown.
Right, he did turn to terrorism. But that doesn't negate the fact that slavery was wrong just because you had one wacky individual. But now, you are a hater of black people because you want to turn them into racists. Am I hearing that right?
No, you're not. I'm not sure
Yes,
what you're hearing.
because if you give black people power, right, the way you want to do, you want to give them power.
Well, we
power
think
makes them a
we
racist.
should have it. Everyone, it should be integrated.
Jesse,
Everyone
listen to
should
this.
have power. So yeah.
Jesse, a power makes white people racist, right?
According to
people
Adam,
can
yeah.
be bigots. Black people can only be bigots. So by his logic, once black people get power like they have over in Africa, he's calling all the Africans over there who have power racist.
We're going to have to disagree on that vehemently. I obviously don't sign on to any of
You
that.
have no answer.
Because that's just, well, I can hear the music coming on, so I'm not sure I'm going to give it a full opportunity to answer.
Thank you, Barbara. Go to guy. Back in a moment, folks. Okay, we have one more hour to go, folks. We're going to be talking to a very interesting guest coming up in the next hour. Adam Lerman is here. It's been interesting so far. Will you come back again?
Sure. I think, going back and forth over stuff like this and being able to clarify positions, I think is useful.
What's your website again?
We're BAMN.com, BAMN.com.
Okay, let's go to Tony out of Detroit. Tony, welcome to the show. You're on with Adam.
Hey, Adam, how you doing?
Good. Hey, good to hear from a Detroiter.
Hey, I'm glad you're hanging in there. Jesse Peterson, he'll take you to the bridge and throw you off of it. That's a good thing. Hey,
he's been amicable so far.
Oh yeah, your office you said is in Detroit, right?
Yeah, actually, our national headquarters is in Detroit. Yeah, and I lived in Detroit for 11 years before moving here to L.A.
Yeah, where in Detroit? Where you at?
Well, I originally lived around 6 Mile and Woodward. Actually, 6 Mile and Hamilton.
How about your office?
Okay.
And then, our offices are downtown on Griswold.
Okay.
And then I lived down on the boulevard by Verner for a number of years as well.
Tony, we have about 2 minutes or so left. Is there something else you wanted to ask?
Oh, yeah. No, I just wanted to let you just verify everything you're saying is true. So he's from here. I'm not saying he's not a bag of nuts because he sounds like a bag of nuts to me. But, hey, he's definitely from here, and he's definitely a Detroiter. But
well, I was born and raised,
have a good one, Jesse.
born and raised in New
friend.
York, but
Thank you.
I love Detroit.
Let's go to Millbrook, Alabama, and not Georgia, Jane, but Alabama, and talk to Jimmy. Jimmy, you're on with Adam. We have about a minute and a half.
Adam?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I sure can.
I am a racist, a bigot, and a white supremacist. Now, confront me. Tell me what I'm doing
I'd
wrong.
rather confront you in person
No,
if that's really who you are. If you're
That's
a
really
white
who I am. Now
supremacist,
tell me
I'd
why
like to
I
meet you
don't
in
have
person
the
with a
right
group
to
of my
be there.
friends.
Huh?
I'd say if that's who you are, I'd like to meet you with a group of my friends.
Well, no, sir. Listen
If you're a
to me.
Klan member, that's definitely
Sir,
how I treat
sir.
Klan members.
Shut up.
Because actually had a cousin who was murdered by the Klan in Mississippi in 1964.
Jimmy want to know, where is he wrong? Does he have the right to be that if he wants to?
You do not have the right to be a Klan member in America. No, I think you should be driven out of
Who
the country.
said I was a Klan
You
member,
said you
sir?
were a white supremacist.
You are a liar.
You said you were a white supremacist.
So what? So was George Washington.
All right.
You monkey.
Oh, Jesus. Thank you, Jimmy.
I've been called worse. It's all right.
He's white. Oh, I think.
It's okay. I don't think they really
No,
care
you're
much.
Jewish. A Jew that does not believe in God. Maze, you would have loved Maze. She would have been with you on this one. Maze, I'm sorry I can't get to you on this one. We're out of time. We have 1 more hour to go, folks. Thank you.
No, thanks for inviting me.
All right.